If you've ever tried this, you probably assume that colored pencil is impossible to erase, but this only shows half of the story. In this video, I'm going to share with you 3 ways to erase colored pencil that actually work, and I'm going to show you exactly what to avoid so that you don't wreck your drawings. This short video is part of a series where I answer the most common questions I get about colored pencil, and it's brought to you by the Color Lab. The Color Lab is my signature program where I teach artists how to become color confident and to create artwork that they're truly proud of. Traditional erasing techniques that work for graphite just don't translate to colored pencils, and that's because they're 2 completely different media. Graphite is a dry powdery substance that sits on top of the paper, which means it's relatively easy to erase. But colored pencil cores are made with wax or oil binders. These binders grip the pigment to the surface, and when you rub with an eraser, you're not removing the pigment, you're smearing it and flattening the tooth of the paper. A more effective way to erase colored pencil is by lifting. Let me show you what I mean. Here I'm using a kneaded eraser in 2 different ways. On the left, I'm rubbing it across my paper with pressure, and as you can see, it's not pulling very much and it's smearing and working the pigment deeper into the paper. On the right, I'm pressing the kneaded eraser down and then lifting it straight up. It doesn't necessarily pull a ton at once, but if you repeat this technique a few times, you can noticeably lighten an area without damaging the paper. If you want something even more effective, try clear magic tape. I use magic tape to lighten areas that have gotten too dark, or to backpedal a layer that I'm not happy with. I also use this technique to clean up white paper that is going to be white in the final presentation. Erasing with tape is relatively simple and straightforward. Just make sure that you press down gently and always hold a corner so that you can lift with control. I have never had issues with tape damaging my paper, but if you are at all concerned, test it on a scrap sheet of the paper that you'll be using. Lifting works best for broader sections and for areas that don't have a ton of pigment built up. But what if you're working with tiny details, or you've already layered quite a bit and have more material to remove? That's where the electric eraser comes in. Unlike a vinyl eraser, which relies on manual rubbing and tends to smear pigment around, an electric eraser uses rapid focused rotation to grind through the wax or oil binders in the colored pencil. It creates enough friction to lift pigment, even in dense, overworked areas, and its small tip gives you control when erasing precise spots, like highlights in the hair or reflections in an eye. Just be gentle. These tools are powerful, and while they can rescue a drawing, they can also damage your paper if you press too hard or stay in one spot too long. If you want a more delicate option, I also have found the Mono Zero eraser to be a great solution. It's not as aggressive as the electric eraser, so you still might have a bit of smudging, but if you come in with really focused pressure, you'll be able to remove some of the color away from your piece and get little spots of white back in your drawing. Knowing how to properly erase is key to finishing your drawing with confidence, but you know what's even better? Avoiding those mistakes in the first place. The next video is my ultimate guide to color pencil blending. I'll teach you how to practice and master these techniques so that you can avoid the most common mistakes with colored pencils.